All right, now we'll go ahead and get started now that we're recording. Okie doke. So why are we talking about 2023 now? We're in the middle of 2022 and everything is in full swing. This August 1st, when you log into your SUSTA account, you're going to get this prompt that will allow you to reconfirm your account details for 2023. SUSTA has to review organizations' account details every year. It's part of our annual review to make sure that companies still meet our eligibility requirements year after year. Sometimes a company's bought. In fact, I was just speaking to one of our companies that we've worked with for a long time who was recently acquired by a larger company, so they're not going to be eligible. Anyhow, so we ask you to, when you log in, confirm your details. Like I said, this starts August 1st, but you can always click not now and do it later if you don't have time right then. But it's a good habit to just go ahead and get this done in August. And that way, when our events and programs start opening, you'll already be reviewed and hopefully eligible to move forward with the programs. And I'd also suggest that if you see anything in your account, like maybe contacts that are no longer with your company, or if, you know, some key information, address or something like that has changed, please update it in this process as well. We'd love to keep the data as clean as possible. And when you go through and reconfirm your details, we also ask that you check off the programs and services that you're interested in. So this is how we determine who's going to review your account for eligibility. So if you select global events, Penny is certainly going to look at your account, make sure you're eligible for global events, and mark you off as eligible so that you can register for events. And same thing with cost share. And if you don't select that program, then those directors aren't going to review you and your account won't be made eligible for those programs. So just make sure as you're going through that reconfirming your account process that you let us know which programs you're interested in. All right, and now I'm going to kick it over to Penny to talk about our global events.
Thank you, Danielle. Good morning, everyone. Thanks again for joining our 2023 kickoff webinar. My name is Penny Lawrence, and I am the Global Events Director. So we are very excited for the upcoming 2023 program year. After a couple of challenging years due to COVID-19, we are eager and hopeful that we will be able to execute all in-person activities in 2023. So registration for the 2023 global events will open August 15th. However, as Danielle mentioned, to register for the 2023 events, you must reconfirm your organization's operating details or create a new SUSTA account for approval starting August 1st. Now, trade shows are allocated on a first come basis, so you want to make sure that your company is approved and ready to register on August 15th. Many of our 2023 first and second quarter trade shows, such as IPM Essence and Fruit Logistica, Go Food, FoodX, IPM, Seafood Expo Global, and Expo Untitled, will open for registration on August 15th. And as for Go Food, companies have the opportunity to reserve their 2023 booth in advance of August 15th. 2023 Go Food booth reservation is open now through July 31st. So if you are interested in participating in Go Food next year, go to our website and reserve your booth now. Next slide, Danielle. So in addition to the popular shows listed on the previous slide, we've added a couple of new trade shows to our strategy, Pro Wine and CPMA. Now, Pro Wine, scheduled March 19th through the 21st in Düsseldorf, is the world's leading trade fair for wines and spirits. And CPMA, scheduled April 25th through the 27th in Toronto, is the largest fresh fruit event in the Canadian industry. So Do not miss the opening of 2023 global events on August 15. Make sure you confirm your organization's operating details on August 1st. Now, as we are all aware, COVID-19 is still a challenge. However, this year we have still been able to execute some in-person activities, including trade shows like Gulf Food, Expo Untitled, IFE, just to name a few, and participating companies have shared that although the trade shows were on a smaller scale, they have been able to make very important connections. So make sure you review our 2022 calendar for any remaining activities through December 31st. Next slide, Danielle. And finally, I would like to talk about surveys. Companies that have participated with us know how important surveys are. Surveys are vital to the success, improvement, and most of all, funding of our program and activities. Companies that participate in our global events are required to complete 2 surveys, an initial survey and a concluding survey. Initial surveys are available in your SUSTA account the day before the last day of the event. And concluding surveys are available in your SUSTA account 6 months after the end of the event. Please be sure you complete both surveys in a timely manner. If you have any questions about the surveys or need assistance completing the surveys, please do not hesitate to contact the Global Events team. We are always available and ready to assist you. That's all I have. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Glad to have you join us for this presentation. I am very excited to see many companies joining us and many new companies. 2022, we did a little better than 2021 with COVID, starting to see, companies apply for the program, and I get excited about it. So I'm more than happy for the 2023 program and having companies apply for that program. So as you heard Danielle mention and Penny also mentioned on her side, we have companies that are interested in a program. They have to select if you are interested in a 50% cost share. Now, with 50% cost share, it requires information, detailed information once you've been approved to move forward with the application. So you want to make certain that you are, when you apply for the program, if you are interested, that you have definite plans on your marketing plans to do promotional activities in those markets. There are also 2 different fees, and those 2 different fees are non-refundable. There's the $250 application fee. That fee is required once the application has been submitted. And after the application has been approved, you'll get an email from me about the approval, and then you'll have access to sign the contract and pay your 6% admin fee based on the approved amount. If you are a new company to the program or a new contact with a returning company, you are required to have a consultation with one of our marketing staff. Next slide, please, Danielle. All right, so I would like to now discuss the application and what I have been seeing to be hiccups on the company side, because many times I get companies call me or send me emails, say, Danine, I submitted my application, and then when I go to check their account, the application has not been submitted. So anytime you see an orange dot on the page, that means something needs to be done. And we'll go ahead and get into an application. All right. So our little dummy company, welcome back, Betty White. This will always be your dashboard page where you can see information regarding 50% cost share. So as you see, there's an orange dot on this page, so something needs to be done. Go ahead and click onto that for me, Danielle, please. All right, so we're going to go with a participant application. It's incomplete again, an orange dot. So these boxes Every last box needs to have a check mark in order to be able to get to the final review, because you can see right there, the final review is kind of grayed out. But in order to get to that, you have to have check marks in every box. So go ahead and click on to contact profiles, Danielle. All right. This is a hiccup that I see with many companies. Even though you get a error message on the page, many companies forget to select all three. So we need a primary contact with the company, a person who's responsible for reviewing claims, and of course, our authorized signer. That authorized signer will be the one who's responsible for signing the contract and binding the contract with SUSTA's cost share, as well as expense claims documentation, etc. So go ahead and add that contact detail. All right, now you see we now have a check mark in the blue box. You got the little message that says that it's been completed successfully or added successfully. And now we're going to go to the marketing plans. I'm going to the sections where I always see hiccups. All right. Go ahead to Canada, Danielle, for me, please. All right, this first page is important, but that's not one of the most important pages that I look at in an application, but the next page is very important. All right, as you can see here, this company thought that they had to list everything in the fields. So they put $1 because they're not really certain what they're going to do, but you do not have to do this. You only have to select the sections that applies to your company on your definite promotional activities you plan on doing. So anything that does not apply, you just leave both of those fields blank. All right, now we're going to go to Japan and show you how an application is completed. The marketing plan for the promotional activities is completed correctly, or we will complete one correctly. All right, FoodX Japan. You provide the name of the trade show, the dates, and what specifically you will request for reimbursement, booth costs. Penny, on her side, she has trade shows that companies participate in. They sign up with her program. And if you are interested in exhibiting with global events, then you would do a marketing plan for Japan like this at FoodX Japan. This company also wants to design and print promotional flyers to use at the trade show. So that's what you put the cost for that. When you see estimated cost, that means the total cost. That's another thing, a hiccup. Companies think that's the 50% amount. That is the total costs. Then we have bags and pens that this company plans on handing out at FoodX Japan and come up with the estimated cost for that. We could pay for up to 2 company representatives to travel at the trade show. So we got Betty White and Ruth McLenaghan that will be traveling to exhibit at the show. So they want to request their airfare, their lodging, and their meal and incidental per diem. So this is the correct way how an application should be completed. The other thing I want to mention is that sometimes in applications, the company have a whole paragraph. We do not need to see that. We just need to see the promotional activity you want to do and the cost that's related to that activity. And then, of course, the bottom totals your expenses or your amount. All right. Danielle, let's go ahead and add a domestic marketing plan. The domestic marketing plan is a little more simpler than the one you just saw. So all you have to do is list or select the trade shows where you plan on exhibiting at for the program year. Then based on those trade shows, we could pay for the booth fee. We could pay for your freight to and from the trade show. We could pay for the point of sale materials. The only thing that we do not cover for exhibiting at domestic trade shows are the travel expenses. That's only covered when you're exhibiting at a trade show in a foreign market. I get that a lot of times. Companies want to know, can they list this? And then when I see a huge budget, most of the times I know that they list their travel expenses. All right, so now you see that we have the budgets, although Canada, of course, like I wanted to show you that that was an incorrect way of completing it. But now we're going to go to the product info. And here you just list your brands and the products you want to promote for your promotional activities. Continue to review application, Danielle. Now, as you can see in the blue boxes, we all have check marks. So now we're at the final review. If you wanted to, you can expand each field to make certain the information you have is accurate. If you don't have accurate information, don't get bent out of shape. I get companies that, oh, Deneen, I submitted it and I got something wrong. It's not that serious. We will work with you. We can always make changes. So after you certify the information, you go ahead to continue to payment process. You got the choice to pay with a credit card. If you use a credit card, there is a small credit card processing fee. Bill me if you plan on sending a check or money order to SUSTA's office. All right, submit. Okay, this is very important. So many times I have to tell companies, they call me, send me an email, Deneen, what's going on with our application? And then I find out that they either didn't sign the certification statement, and we'll get into that shortly. They have not paid their application fee, or they have not submitted their product packaging or labels for those brand products to be promoted for their promotions. We need to have all information on file before I can even review and process the application. So when you're pending information, this delays the application process. So it's very important to pay attention to this checklist.
Deneen, do you want me to go in for the signature and see if we
Yes.
can do that? Okay.
Yes. So as you see here, it says unsigned, and many companies think they're done once they hit submit, but this has to be done. So you have to sign the certification statement. And when you click on send verification email, you'll get an email into your account with a link to let you know the steps on signing this form. Many times the email may go into your junk or your spam file, so you may want to check that as well.
And then because I'm probably not going to get that
Yes.
email, I can't do it, but
That's
if I
okay.
was Betty White and I clicked to certify, then this button would turn red and you'd be able
That's
to
correct.
sign it online.
Yes, and then it has the prompts to walk you through the steps on how to sign.
Okay,
And that's it for the application.
now let me get back to the presentation.
Okay. All right, just like Penny mentioned, cost share, we also have surveys. So our survey is once a year. They go out January 1st. So please pay very close attention to those emails. Please do not ignore those emails. Like Penny mentioned, this is very important to our programs to make certain we get funding, etc. If I don't receive your surveys in whatever the time frame here will be, you will get a call from me. So you don't want Deneen, the hound dog, after you. So please make certain that you get those surveys submitted to us. Because otherwise, as you see in this picture with this dog, I'll be looking for those surveys. And that concludes my presentation, Danielle.
Great. All right. I just wanted to talk about a few things. First is our export helpline. This is something that we launched last year. We have another consultant named Victoria who answers the helpline questions, and she gets them pretty often. Companies can access this either through the resources tab on our website, or it's on our homepage as well. Oh, goodness. Sorry. I was thinking I was scrolling on our website. But it will pre-fill with your information, and then you just let her know the topic and you write in the helpline question here, and it will be sent directly to Victoria. She will answer you within, it's usually within 24 hours. She picks up the phone, she emails, and she's incredibly thorough. So if you hit any speed bumps in the process, a lot of questions she gets are, this company from Japan contacted me. They're interested in my products. They want to see all the ingredients that are in my products. Is that normal? What do I need to share? That kind of thing. I mean, that's a pretty typical question that she gets, and she will walk you through that process and let you know what you're supposed to do and when, what's typical in those kind of scenarios. So just wanted to remind everybody that that is there, since it is still kind of a new tool that we have. And then I'm really excited to introduce a brand new opportunity. It hasn't launched yet. So we are in the very final stages of testing out our Connects 365 platform. So this has been something that SUSTA has wanted to do for a long time. Often companies are asking for new ways to connect with foreign buyers, and during COVID, especially when there was, really no chance for travel, we decided to jump on the process of creating a virtual place where our companies can connect with foreign buyers. So I want to walk you through just what it's going to look like from the foreign buyer's perspective, so that you could see how they would what they would see when they get onto the site. And I encourage all of you, when we do launch, which should be kind of soon, it would be great if you want to create a page. Once we get our US suppliers, all of you guys on the on Connects, then we'll start inviting the foreign buyers. So then they'll be able to start logging in and perusing the website. It's not going to be open to just anybody, because we don't want you getting spammed by, everybody, but it will be open to the foreign buyers that we have, doing our trade missions, the ones that are submitting trade leads through our the FAS posts around the world. We're going to be really actively seeking good vetted buyers to have profiles where they can log into Connects 365. So I will stop sharing this, and I'm going to get back into our staging site. Oh, it locked me out because I was gone too long. Just bear with me 1 second. Okay. Yes. So I'm going to log in like I am a buyer from Singapore who has been approved to access the Connects platform. Okay, now let me reshare my screen. Okay, so this is me, the foreign buyer. I'm going to go up to the Connects 365 button up here. And again, this is on our staging website where we can test things. So this is, fully in test mode right now. None of this is real information. So the buyer would be taken to a page like this that would just have a welcome message. We'll have a video up. We'll also be able to create events within Connects 365 where, maybe we'll be bringing specific buyers from Spain who are interested in seafood. And then in those events, it would just be all, SUSTA seafood companies that want to participate that they can connect with. And, we'll do some event around that. And then others might just be, buyers from a specific country meeting with certain companies. But the reason it's Connects 365 is 365 days a year outside of, these events, of course, this website will be up. So companies don't have to wait for an event to meet foreign buyers. So let's say I want to look for granola. I'm the foreign buyer. I'm going to do that. Oh, look at that. There's Betty White again. I can click there and see Betty's Bites. So as Betty White, I went in and created this page. It was pretty easy to do. I put my logo. It's a kind of a drag and drop thing that you'll have access to once Connect 365 is up. But, you know, I put my profile photo, my logo, a little background image, and then I uploaded the my company's product images, and I could even just copy a YouTube URL here for a video. So, and then product types, I have where I export to and where I'm interested in exporting, my company type and what channels I'm interested in. So I want to sell retail. These are my products. So, you know, I'm this foreign buyer and I am interested in this one. So I'm going to add to favorites, and I'm interested. I love peanut butter. I'm going to add that to favorites. And then I can go and contact Betty. So I'm going to click there. And this is my information here on the left. There's Betty over on the right. The things that I favorited are right here. I can add other favorites if I want. I can write a message to the company. My company profile will already be here, but I can add to that. My port of destination, quote term of sale, supply channels, target audience, you name it. I can send this email and boom, I will have connected with this US supplier. After that, it's really up to the US supplier and the foreign buyer to connect off of the site. So this platform is really a place to introduce the products, make that first connection. We will get notified when those connections are made though. So we'll follow up with the US company as well as the foreign buyer and just make sure that both folks got the email and see if they have questions, if they need anything from us. So it's a lot more engaging, I would say, than the trade lead system where foreign buyers just put a trade lead in and it goes out to our companies, and we don't, you know, really have the ability to follow up and make sure that companies are responding or that, you know, things are happening from the trade leads. And this is obviously a way that you can really like show off your company, your products, make it look really nice. Anyway, we're super excited. It was custom built for SUSTA and for our companies, and we really hope that you'll participate. Be looking for an email from us. I think it would be by the end of this month that we'll start, you know, gauging interest. And we will help companies build out their profiles, especially this first go round. So, you know, you have to have logos that are specific size, profile photos, and, you know, things like that. So I'm more than happy to work with our companies and make sure that everything's in the right size and getting uploaded in the right way, so that you can have a beautiful page like Betty. So with that, I am going to stop sharing. And oh, somebody just asked when it's launching. So it is still in the design phase. We should be at the end of this month launching, is our hope. So please just keep an eye out for that email with tech development, especially because it's a custom platform. We want to make sure everything launches well and launches correctly. So we'll be in touch. You won't miss the emails. We will let you all know as soon as it's ready to go. All right, and now it is time to hear from Victoria Wasike, who leads our export readiness training. I just wanted to show you on the screen here how to register for the training. We have one coming up this fall that Victoria will talk about, and it's always going to be in our event tab. So if you go to our website, click events, you'll see our export readiness training there. And with that, I will ask Victoria to start her presentation.
Okay, let me go ahead and see if I can share my screen and start the presentation. Oh, Danielle, I'm still seeing your screen. Let me see. All right, I think we got it. Okay. I want to go ahead and give a quick presentation about export readiness training. If you are new to this service, kind of give you a good overview about what we have to offer and how you can sign up and what you'll learn if you participate in the export readiness training program that we have. A few things. The training is presented by Golden Crest Global. We are a consulting firm outside of Charlotte, North Carolina. So we are within the region of SUSTA, which we're very happy to be. It's myself. And then if you sign up for the training, you'll definitely meet Trish Souza. She does all the care and handling of our companies who signed up. She sends emails. She sends the homework out. We do have homework. We'll talk about that in a second. And all that other great stuff to help the communication between ourselves and the company. Just a little bit of information about myself, just in the interest of time, and the company. Previous experience was the trade manager for the Iowa International Trade Office, covering mainly Asia. Then also became the manager of international business development for the entire state of Iowa, mainly focused on foreign direct investment. A lawyer by trade, I always say a reformed lawyer with Dentons Davis Brown. Now they're Dentons, which is the largest law firm in actually the world. They were formerly Davis Brown Law Firm. And then they're part of the international litigation divisions. I served for several years in that office. Managing activities for offices in Europe, Japan, China, Taiwan, and Mexico for the state of Iowa. Directed a lot of trade missions to India, Japan, South Korea, governor-led, and then appointed to various boards. The European Union Visitors Program, still active in that. Midwest Japan Association. So from Europe to Japan to Asia, pretty much covered it all. Presenter at different conferences and events throughout Europe and Asia. Was served as an adjunct professor, which is why I love to teach, for Drake University Law School and the College of Business, their master's program. Have a master's in public policy, also from George Mason University. Studied the Oxford Global Certificate Program at Oxford University in England, and then was a science teacher actually in Washington, D.C. So teaching is in my blood, which is, like I said, why I love to do these training programs. I have an undergrad degree from UCF in Florida, where I'm from. So just a brief overview about the training. The training includes 4 sessions for this training. We broke it up to 4 sessions. So they're a little shorter, but we'll still cover 3 modules. And so pretty much it'll be 3 hours each. And so we're going to cover a total of 12 topics and a total of 12 hours for the training. It goes by fast, but we really do pack a lot into that time. As Danielle said, we are so excited because we're offering a course this fall. The registration is open, like you said. We actually have already companies signed up, which we're so excited about. So if you want to go ahead and sign up, go ahead, click on that link where she showed you to sign up. If you have a question, you can always email Danielle too. But the dates are September 28th, and then October 5th, 12th, and 30th. That can't be 36. I got to look that up. Probably it's 26 because 36 is impossible. But we'll double check that for you. I'm quite sure it's probably 26.
It's 26. Yep.
Thank you. Yeah, that's not right. Thank you so much. And then we already have our dates for spring, which is March. So if you can't go ahead and dedicate for this fall, which I suggest you do, then you can also take the training in spring. We already have our dates covered, and they're all throughout the month of March. So they're coming like March 2nd, March, whatever, So they're for the 4 weeks in March, they're already set. And then once you're finished, you get a wonderful SUSTA Export Readiness Certificate. And we give that to you just so you can show that you've learned so much. And we give it to you virtually, and then you also can get it via mail. So a little bit about our topics, and we're going to go into a deeper dive about our topics in a second. But we have module 1, which we go into developing export readiness skills, developing an export plan, classifying your products for export, market research, and then export assistance and service providers. We'll talk about a little bit more in a second. Module 2 is pretty much you getting your tools of the trade, right? And you're really learning about free trade agreements, foreign import requirements, pricing your products for export markets, very important. Different pricing, different markets oftentimes. Finding your buyers and partners on the ground, and then how to use those international terms of sale like Incoterm and that kind of stuff to make sure that that you have good pro forma invoices and then also commercial invoices. And then finally, we teach you how to get your products to global customers because you're so excited. You have that client, right? You have that partner or that buyer, and now you need to go ahead and get your product abroad. And we teach you all the great steps as far as navigating shipping and logistics, and then U.S. foreign export regulations, preparing export documentation, and then the most important part sometimes, getting paid, right? So we talk about the export sales financing as an insurance. This is a brief overview. Like I said before, for SUSTA, we've broken down into 4 sessions, not 3, but we still cover all this information. So we'll cover all 12 topics during our training in the fall, and then also in the spring and March. So very easy. All you have to do is sign up. Like I said, you can go ahead and reach out to Danielle if you have any questions, but it's open already for this fall. And then we're going to send you a wonderful questionnaire. And it just really helps you start to think about, are you ready to export? If you're on this call, quite sure you are, so that's great. And then other things you have to think about, like, could you promptly fill an export order if it comes? Do you have managers or staff who have experience in exporting? Just things that make you start thinking before you actually take the export readiness class, and make sure that you're prepared and that you've really considered pretty much all the aspects that you have to go ahead and prepare for. So just to do a little deeper dive into the modules, just so you know what we're going to cover. And I really say, you give us 12 hours, we really will teach you really a lot of the nuts and bolts of what you need to know. 12 hours, that's it. And so for the first module, we talk about really understanding your company, your industry, and we do a deep dive analysis. You have to look inward, right? Do you have the people? Do you have, is your company ready? And then your industry, looking at what's going on. Is your industry going up in some markets, going down? You need to know those trends. So we go and talk about that. We make sure you understand your export goals, right? That's always helpful. And so you kind of work toward those goals. We also teach you classification codes, and all this is interactive. I love because it's virtual. We go all over the internet, right? But we take you along, but we show you exactly how to get your classification codes if you don't know how to do it. And we show you everything like NAICS codes and everything you need to know for your market research. And then we also talk about how to identify which products you want to export. Sometimes you don't want to have all your products out there, right? In all different markets. So we help you try to figure out which products for which market. And then we also do a lot of international market research and give you tons of tools, free tools that you can utilize so that you can do a deep dive into different markets. And so when SUSTA says, oh, we're going to the Philippines, you know how to do that deep dive, right? Or if you just want to figure out your markets for yourself and figure out, well, this year we're going to focus on these 3 markets, then you can go ahead and do that deep dive to see which markets are best for you. So very helpful information. And then finally, we talk about export assistance providers. Who's here to help you? SUSTA's here to help you, of course, and we'll have SUSTA come on to talk about how much more they can help, but then other providers who are also able to help you while you export. Then we go over, like I said, the tools of the trade. This is my favorite part because I love nitty-gritty stuff. So honestly, this always makes me so happy. But we talk about free trade agreements and tariffs and why they're important, right? How they can make you a little less competitive, more competitive, how you actually qualify for a free trade agreement, all that great stuff. We talk about foreign import requirements because, as you probably know, every country has its own requirements and you must know them. Right? So we really teach you how to figure out each of the country's foreign import requirements. We give you tools to do that and whatever certificates you need. Do you need a phytosanitary? Do you need a sanitary? Do you need a certificate of free sale? If you don't know, take the course, right? And so we also teach you how to not only about the certificates, but how to actually get them and how to understand and give you tools to go ahead and figure that out. We also talk about pricing various products and other kind of issues like that, because once again, a lot of times you might want different pricing for different markets, and you want to go ahead and have a strategy for your pricing. And then we talk about direct and indirect selling and foreign partners. Do you want to have a distributor on the ground? Do you want to use, maybe an export management company? Just what are your options and what works best for you? And so we talk about those different options. Terms of sale and Incoterms, you always hear those terms, FOB, CIP, CIF, all those great terms. We teach you what they mean and how to use them, which is very, very helpful. And then finally, we talk about pro forma invoices and commercial invoices to make sure you're using them correctly and you understand how and when to use them. And then finally, the last module or set of topics we really do a deep dive in is, of course, shipping requirements and partners. You got to know your freight forwarders, right? You want to know information about custom brokers and they're part of the process and how they can help, how to ship your product, packaging, labeling. We also talk about U.S. export controls and EES Direct, which is of course what you utilize to go ahead and fill out your export license or export requirement information for the US government. We talk about all the movement of goods documentations, bill of lading, shippers instructions. There's a whole bunch, right, to make sure you understand all of them. And then we talk about common payment options. Some things are better than others, right? But sometimes you need to go ahead and know how to use those various options, payment in advance, letters of credit. We go into great detail, all that great stuff so you know how to get paid and the different ramifications if your buyer comes to you with different terms. Very important. And then financing option, we talk about Exim Bank, we talk about SBA, different options that are out there to help you go ahead and finance your exports. The great thing about this, like I said, is virtual, but it's not boring. You think 12 hours, really? It's not. We have a really interactive kind of setup here. We kind of talk about, this is just an example of, one of the slides that we utilize. And one of my favorite parts, honestly, is this. We include seasoned exporters and industry experts. And this is the greatest thing. We bring on a seasoned exporter so you can hear their horrible stories sometimes, and learn what not to do sometimes. And then you hear their stories of triumph, and it gives you so much encouragement because you're like, if this guy can do it, I know I can do it. He's in 40 countries. I know I can do it, right? And so it's a wonderful addition that we have every time we bring on a seasoned exporter. And then we have industry experts. Normally we have a freight forwarder who comes on that last session to really talk about all the ins and outs, what you need to know to get your product abroad, getting that container, right? And all that great stuff. And then we usually bring on a financial planner too, to really break down into letters of credit and different options. So it is a full service, wholesale kind of training, but it's just 12 hours and you really will know everything you need to know. The great thing is we provide you with session handouts because I must say it's a lot of information, right? And so it's so crazy because even afterwards, it could be a year later, someone comes up to me and says, hey, I'm looking at the handout, just have a question about this. They literally come back because the handouts are so useful. And we have a handout for every single session. And it really helps because even though the class is over, you can go back to those handouts and you can go ahead and figure out exactly what we talked about, right? And so you have that going forward. Finally, you also have homework. Homework is fun with this training, but a lot of times it's just you get the information, but you don't use it right away. So you just lose it. And so our goal is that you have homework along the way for each session, and it kind of helps you to put in practice right away, right? Pick out a product, pick out a market, pick out your classification codes, pick out how you would go ahead and do a distributor or buyer, pick out this and that. It's really helpful and it helps you to utilize it right away, the information that you learned. And then at the end, you get a ta-da! You get a much nicer certificate than this. This is a made-up certificate, but you get a wonderful certificate at the end. And so we're very proud, and people who get the certificate are very proud of the certificate. And then here are just some positive reviews. One company from the first training with SUSTA said Golden Crest Global presented comprehensive training on exporting products into the global market. The training was top-notch and professional. We were honored to be a part of it and are better for the knowledge gained. And so that's one participating company. Another one also put, after this training, I now feel equipped with the knowledge and language of exporting. Importantly, I feel like I'm more confident, which is what we want. We want confident exporters, right? So I feel like I'm more confident going into potential export opportunities. Makes my heart sing. And so that's what we want to make sure that you have the same experience. So who should take this, right? Who should sign up? If you're new to exporting, we should definitely see you in this class, right? We should see your face in the place virtually. If you have new hires, you're like, okay, I know all this, but I just hired Sally and she's clueless. Sally should be in the class, right? Sign her up. Then also you want to train existing employees, right? So they've been around a while, but they're just rusty. Our sons, a lot of times people say, well, we've been doing this for years, but we never had a systematic process. We just all did it willy-nilly. We don't want no willy-nilly around here, right? We want to make sure we know how to do it properly. So sign them up. And then finally, sometimes we have members of various departments. So because we train the whole company. So sometimes we'll have the marketing department sit on a session 1 because it's about marketing. We'll have, the sales department kind of sit on session 2, 3, because it'll be 4 sessions for SUSTA this time, because we'll talk more about sales. And then we'll have the shipping department kind of sit on. And so we want everybody, right? You can sign everyone up. And if you feel like one part of the training is better, but sometimes you have one person that covers it all, God bless you. And then that person should be in the whole training, but we train, the entire company. So if you have members of various departments, have them come on too. And finally, if you're on the call, sign up. We would love to have you participate. Finally, one last thing, we have something new that's coming up. We're working on some of the kinks. It's one-on-one export coaching. Export readiness coaching. And basically it came out of the need of one company was between the sessions, just like, maybe now, but you still need export assistance, right? But you need a little bit more than the helpline, right? Because the helpline is awesome. So, for those quick questions, you can use the helpline, but sometimes you have a kind of burden that you have to really kind of think through and need a little bit more coaching. So this is what we're going to provide, and Danielle will send out an email a little bit more once we have the process for registration finalized. It's an hour coaching via Zoom, so it's a little more intensive, of course. You provide background information in advance so we can do a deep dive into what you really need. We provide tailored coaching based on your exact needs, so it's very helpful because the training is more broader, right? You got all these companies for the regular training, but this is more tailored if you need it. And then we provide basic guidance on next steps in the export process. We're trying to get you over a hurdle. So once again, it doesn't replace your 12-hour course. Okay. The 12-hour course teaches you what you need to know for everything, but really is used to help overcome specific hurdles that might have hindered you, but you want to go and move over to the next step. So we're so happy to provide this and this one additional layer of support. And our main goal is to have, of course, educated exporters, and I want to say confident exporters too. So we have a pipeline so people can use SUSTA services because they're awesome. And that's all. So thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate your time. Hope to see everyone signing up. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Victoria. Lots of great opportunities, whether you're a new exporter or seasoned. Somebody was asking in the chat box, can we use, sorry, so I'm going to move into the Q&A portion. Sarah said, can we use Connects 365 to allow visibility to our products, even if we cannot afford to attend overseas trade shows at this point? Yes. The answer is yes to that. That's kind of the idea. Whether you're going to trade shows overseas or you're not quite ready, the Connects platform is a great way to be able to showcase your products to foreign buyers without traveling. And if you are traveling, I think it's a great supplement to have your products out there. Connects 365 looks like a great feature. Thank you, Bonnie. Assad is asking, what is the process of doing due diligence performed for trade leads that we get via SUSTA portal or email? So Penny, I don't know if you want to answer this. This is not Connects 365 related. This is our current trade lead system.
So with our trade leads that are input into the SUSTA system, what happens is any companies with matching HS codes are automatically notified. And then at that point, it is up to the US company to reach out to the buyer to further have conversations.
And those trade leads come in typically through the FAS overseas offices. So it's USDA
or our consultants.
Yeah, or our consultants, right? So it's not just anybody that can submit a trade lead. These are vetted buyers.
Yeah, they're vetted.
I know. Any other questions? You can put them into the chat or the Q&A, or you could raise your hand maybe, and we could even unmute you. Let me pull up the participant list. Yeah, if anybody has any questions, but if not, then we did, as I mentioned, we recorded this webinar. Once it's finished loading after we end, I'll get it up on the website in the in the webinars section, and I'll send you all an email about where to find it if you want to rewatch anything or share it with any colleagues or staff. And yeah, we're just super excited about next year. Don't forget about August 1st. You should have
Yeah.
also gotten a postcard about it. Yes.
Can I add that?
Yeah.
I know sometimes companies get overwhelmed with cost share. If you have any questions or need any assistance with the application, I'm more than happy to sit with you and walk you through the process of those steps.
Yep. Deneen does it all the time, especially, you know, with Teams and Zoom, we can share screens and do all kinds of, you know, in-depth calls that way too. Well, wonderful. Well, we look forward to working with you all throughout the rest of 2022 and into 2023. Thanks for being with us this morning. And yeah, we look forward to seeing you recertify your account in August.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank y'all.
All right. Bye-bye. Thank
Have
you.
a great
Bye-bye.
day.
Take care.
Bye.